the poems I was trying to talk about. And it was the line, "But a heaven is easier made of nothing at all than the earth regained." And I struggled with that for quite a while until it kind of came to me finally that a ball is really nothing at all. I mean, a ball, the only purpose of a ball is to play with. It's round, some of them are like a tennis ball, are filled full of air, but it has no other purpose than to be played with. So to play with it is not so difficult, is it? Because, I mean, obviously to juggle 5 red balls is very difficult. But to just play catch with a ball, I mean, anybody can do that, and that's what we do with balls. And that's their function. But then when he said, and remember the word heaven in the third stanza, it's what he's described in the second stanza, where the balls are swinging a small heaven about his ears. As the balls go, they're orbiting his head like planets orbiting the sun. Well, that's fairly easy to do. If you practice, you can learn how to play with balls. Maybe not juggle 5 of them, but you can do something with balls. So what does he trade them for? And what's his next trick? His next trick is to take 3 objects of daily life: a plate, a broom, and a table. And the plate we eat off of, the table we put things on top of, and the broom we sweep things up. They have very practical functions, and that's what we do with them. But then to take those and to juggle those and to do something artistic with those, damn, that's something. That's really something. And so what I think we have in this poem is we celebrate the artist who shakes our gravity up. And another thing that Richard Wilbur does is he selects, I mean, when he's sitting at his desk and spending 2 hours on one line of poetry, he's looking for words that have sometimes several meanings, which is one of the things that poetry does. I think of poetry in a way as almost like dynamite. You take all of this stuff and you concentrate it in something very small, and then when you strike the match, it explodes. And so the striking of the match is the reading of the poem. The explosion is what the poet has compressed into a very short, in the case of the Oven Bird, into 14 lines. Look how much is said in those 14 lines. And so, so in this poem, the poet, in a way, is also a juggler, I think, because he's juggling words. You could argue that what we have to do is even harder than that. So you've got the juggler who juggles the balls, you've got the poet who juggles words, and then there's the rest of us, for whom we have to try and juggle the things of our day-to-day life. And so we're artists in a way. So the artist comes along and shakes our, I lost my train of thought there for a second. The reason I was talking about Wilbur using several meanings of words, gravitas is what? To shake our gravity up. Mm-hmm. Well, gravity, the force that makes the bouncing ball be settle. Then there's our own gravitas, our own sometimes sadness, our super seriousness, that the artist comes along and shakes up. So when Mickey was doing his thing, everybody in the room was looking at him. That's what the artist does. He shakes us up. But the gravitas that we sometimes feel, the word gravity and gravitas, there's another word that's buried in there, right? Grave, meaning super serious, and then grave, referring to mortality. And so again, this poem has, I think, sort of levels of meaning, but ultimately, it's thrown right back in our laps, isn't it? Because we need to be our own oven bird, we need to be our own juggler.